You get the Beninois, they are in Ghana doing all the construction work.
Yeah.
Ghanaians are not interested in those areas. So it's either government employing them, or you know what they do? Give me money to trade. Everyone wants to trade. So on every corner you see a kiosk, small thing,
Yeah.
some temporary structure over there selling something that cannot even make ends meet. I was telling Doc before we started the program, the opportunities are there. Yes. The opportunities are all right. So, but they said, okay, let's do some voluntary work. Clean up, cleaning everywhere. But right now, you know, it is attracting attention from all over the world. People are even donating from outside, and I can see some people, even some foreigners coming in to contribute to the effort that they are making, just to ensure that the society is clean.
Yeah.
And you know, they sat down, they saw a problem, and they decided that let's do something about the problem, and opportunities are coming as a result of the problem that they saw. So you move out there, don't you see the problems? The problems are all over the place. Right now, the biggest issue is the destruction of our environment, because those that are doing the illegal mining, most of them are not Ghanaians. So if you want to look for job for our people, and mining, sustainable mining, we can even trade this artisanal mining, so that they can do the right things there, and we can create a lot of jobs within that sector. And if you talk about even the destruction of our forest reserves also, we cut the wood and then we export without processing. You know, once we do that, we are creating jobs for other countries. Don't we have carpenters here? We have them here. But right now, a lot of us would like to buy imported furniture. And we export the raw the timber. They will process it over there, bring it back, and then we'll go and buy those processed goods. Unfortunately, training and our work ethics too, I was buying some beds from local person. Oh, I can do it within 1 month. I tell you, I had it after 3 months. Our work ethics is also a problem. But if you have your money, you go to the market there, and then you can have it easily there. We even produce better furniture in terms of quality. Sure. We produce even better ones. But the fact of the matter is our work ethics. So other issue that is also showing very well. Even though we are in West Africa, I know we live within the West African sub-region. There's free migration from here and there. But we need to be very careful as to how we allow this to go on. We need to. Because I remember in those days, in the early, late 70s and early 80s, where Ghanaians were repatriated from Nigeria, and that was the time that the economy of Nigeria was so good. Ghanaians went. We are in a sub-region where economy is good. Migration, it is so certain that people will migrate to go to areas where they can get things better. But I'm so worried about the current situation that we find ourselves in. Yeah. I'm coming from areas where you go to, we recruit people in the area, even security. The forest guards, you go and find them, most of them are even foreign migrants. How did we even get there? To get migrants from outside, and they are used as security in Ghana. And only God knows, in case of any mishap, they will turn their guns against us. So we need to be very careful. Even though we are looking for jobs for our people, we need to also be very careful about the people that we allow to enter our country. If we are able to, we are talking about cyber issues, this cyber crime in Ghana. Just look at the statistics. Anytime these people are arrested, just look at where I wouldn't want to mention any country, but Ghana has become it's a pull factor, because it has become a safe haven for some of these cyber crimes. And once they come in, they recruit Ghanaians as well, train them, and become experts. So we also indulge in it. And I'm sure we need to, the Minister for Interior, especially, will have to be up and doing, especially on the issues of migration. If we are able to get this and get it well, Like Ghanaians, we are exporting labor, skilled labor. So if there are skilled labor that we don't have and we need to import, it should be formalized, like we are doing in Ghana here. Yeah. As at last week or
last week,
about 120 nurses left Ghana, and we all know that these are trained nurses. Some of them are even home and still looking for jobs. Whilst we have the opportunity to train and export, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It didn't start from our government, NDC. Right. It started from the previous administration. And once we have comparative advantage in training of nurses, and our nurses are doing well elsewhere, all that we need to do is to put in a lot more resources, train more nurses and other professionals that are also being sought for outside. Let's train them and export. Right. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Besides that, the area of entrepreneurship, we all know that there are countries like Germany and all those people. These people became because they prioritized technical education over everything. So once we prioritize technical education and we are doing the right things, I know Ghanaians, some of our students are doing that, some of the youth are going into construction and other things. They are doing so well. We need to encourage more of our youth to go into that sector. Right. Other than that, the formal sector, everybody thinking about government employment, government job, I don't think it's sustainable. It's sustainable. Throughout my life, I have never worked for any government institution apart from me becoming a member of parliament and becoming a deputy minister. I operate within the private space. And at least I also recruit. I've also provided jobs for people to be working. And I think that is the way we have to go. And we don't have to be thinking about just train people and people will be coming with their CVs or I will look for a job for me. Yeah. And then there's a vacancy here. Can you make a follow-up for me? It becomes so difficult for us when it happens like this. Right. And there's the extent to which government will be able to provide funding for this. Because when you hear, about 4 years of trained nurses are still at home. Yeah. Trained nurses, and we are talking about 80,000 of our youth having been trained and still at home. Where did we go wrong? And within the private sector, health facilities, we can also provide health facilities, recruit some of these people. It's not only government that can recruit some of these graduates. Right. And I think there's something wrong, and we all have to sit down to find the answers. And once we get the right answers, I don't think Ghana we are overpopulated. We are not. Ghana is not overpopulated. Once we are speaking here, there are countries over there that are also crying because they don't even have the people to work for them. Yeah. They need hands to work for them. So Africa, Ghana, we are not overpopulated. We need to give them the right skill so that wherever they move, their services will be needed. That is what we are supposed to do.
Right. Mr. Mate, how do we tackle this issue of unemployment, youth unemployment?
Thank you very much. I think I will agree with Honorable in a lot of the points he has made with regards to how to get these things tackled. He mentioned education and how our universities produce graduates that do not fit into the real job situations and those things. And I think those things, every country intentionally make policies to take care of issues that affect it. But it seems ours, whatever we copied from our colonial masters, we are not thinking through it, being innovative about it. Because if we have a country that needs a lot of carpenters, fitters, vocational professionals, and we open our education up for everybody to do humanities, everybody to do, because talk to some of these young undergraduates, and when you ask them what they are doing and they mention it, you ask yourself, it's unfortunate I can't mention any program here, but you ask yourself, so this person, when she completes this university and there is no government employment, what can he do with this course that he has gone to do on his own? For me, with the little children I have, I don't allow them to go and do just anything. Seriously, because you should complete. I can't invest into your education and you will complete and come, and I will still be feeding you. I think.
Fortunately, that's the situation.
Yeah, but I think we parents too should take some of these decisions with our children. Something. When I say mass, I mean MASS. Something. You do this. So seriously, I think government policy should drive how we want our products from our education institutions to be placed. And government effort should also be in creating opportunities for our young ones. In some countries, when somebody completes high school, there are certain positions which is there for them. When you go to McDonald's, those who serve at their what is called pick-up points and those things, you realize they are all high school children. When every level, you realize that opportunities have intentionally been created. I think we have to do that. And in certain countries, you can't go and do any work when you don't have social security. When you have social security, meaning you are a legal resident and you are a citizen and you are qualified to work. But in Ghana here, I remember one Baba whose shop I used to visit. When I want to pay him, I realized that the number he has given me is a lady's number. You see what we are doing to ourselves. Because the way we have opened up our country, if we would drive it with policy decisions, people will come from various countries, but they will realize that if you are not, you have not gone through the proper procedure, you can't fit in. You can't stay here for more than 3 months. Yes, because you realize that the country will not, the systems will not allow you. So we have to do a lot of this thing. You realize we, as a country, one of our strong points is our natural resources. And we should make sure we develop policies that will accept a lot of our youth to create wealth. That is why Dr. Bawumia, in his 2024 election campaign, he said if he were to be elected, he would make sure that the geology department will do a systemic plan for the whole country, and where who want to go into mining. And we have about millions of our youth who want to go into it. We will establish them there. And I think we have to be intentional about this thing. We have to be intentional about resolving our youth unemployment. Because as my senior brother, the MP, said, it is a national security issue. Because recently I saw a fight at one Galamsey side, and one gentleman was, as a gentleman, was out there on TV and said we should look at his face. If we stop him, he will come as an armed robber again. You see, and he was saying it boldly, out of frustration. But if we have been intentional about how to settle all our youth, I don't think anybody will have this thought. Because if you go to other countries, you won't even see the youth walking by the road. Or you enter an event center, or maybe in the church. Nobody walks around anyhow. And this country, if you look at the size of our country and the kind of resources we have, if we get leadership that will be intentional at resolving our problems, it will be resolved from our education throughout our society, and we will all be happy living in our country. So this is not actually to go at a particular government, but I want this country to be intentional about the way we do our things, because some people are doing well, and it is the same, it's their same leaders who did it for them. So we should also be very intentional about resolving our problems, and we can do it. We can do it.
No.
Opportunity to be here. Special good morning to my honorable members here, honorable NDC and honorable MPP. Yes, I think they've done very well.
What you are saying. Sure.
He's helping you to campaign for Baumia here. Except that
But he himself, he loves Baumia.
Yes.
The way he mentioned the name, you can see. The only thing
I
is,
love everyone.
the only thing is Baumia's coming might truncate his government's forward movement. That's the only thing he wouldn't like.
I don't hate anyone.
Yes,
The person that probably I'm not sure of his capabilities.
well, that would be
Yes.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Now it is not even up to you to be sure. No, it's not up to you to be sure.
You see how interesting it is to be flanked by politicians. Yeah. All right, so you all know that unemployment does not exist in isolation. It exists within the context of education, public policy, and citizens' mindset. So let me take education. I agree with the two honorable men here. And this is a bitter truth for those of us in academia. Our educational system is faulty in the face of reality. It's faulty. As it is now, our educational system, especially at the tertiary level, is much more emphatic on examination passing rather than knowledge acquisition. And that is why students can do anything, I'm saying anything, including their thing, to pass an examination.
Be specific.
We are adults. To pass an examination. And let me tell you, we have four dimensions, four traditional dimensions of education. 1, objective. 2, content. 3, methodology, either pedagogy or andragogy. And 4, evaluation. So every program must be structured in line with these 4 dimensions. For example, if you want to mount a program on journalism, that is your intention. You want to train responsible journalists, not those behind the megaphones of war. Responsible ones indeed, not those consumed by misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. So you can use engineering content to train a journalist. So you need, that should be your intention. So the intention will now drive the content. So you have the content. After the content, you should have the way of actualizing the content, and that is methodology, teaching methodology. And then after teaching, you should be able to evaluate the understanding, and that is evaluation. And I'm telling you that today it's unfortunate that most of the programs we run do not respond to the needs of the industry. So there is a huge gap between the industry and the academia. In other words, a huge gap between what is taught in the classroom and what is needed in the industry. That is a matter to academia, a matter of concern to the industry. And to academia, a matter of concern to the industry. And that alone, that itself is tied to public policy. There must be a deliberate government policy to address that. And it comes with responsibilities, financial responsibilities, because some of these courses that we are talking about, the STEM, you mentioned STEM, right? And then you also mentioned technical education. They are not easy to run. Some of them are capital intensive. And it must be the policy of the government to ensure that the material, the money, the human resource, everything should be available for the universities to run. Then we come to the curriculum. Think that it is not possible. It's possible, it's feasible. Today, you mentioned the copying from the colonial masters on the mentality of colonialism. It's most of them, even in the 21st century. So we need to decolonize the curriculum. Most African scholars are just conveyor belts of Western thoughts. Whatever the West say is whatever we take. The Vancouver is Western, the Cambridge, whatever, all of them are Western based. We have Association of African Universities. We do not have African-oriented reference manual that should be accepted in research. We don't have. So the research models themselves are Western. And we copy the Western research models to solve African problems? Definitely you cannot.
Right.
And I'm not saying that we should throw away the existing ones. No. Knowledge is not static. Knowledge is dynamic. And in academia, everybody is supposed to contribute to the growth of knowledge. That is why plagiarism is encouraged. Because when you don't enforce plagiarism, people will copy and knowledge will be static. No one will contribute to the growth of knowledge. So we are not saying at all that we should throw away. No. No, that's not what we are saying. We are saying that we should try to produce African-oriented knowledge so that it can compete with other models of knowledge on the global scene. That's for the academia. Then we come to public policy. I mean, just look at, I'm sorry to say this, look at the number of technical universities that we have. And look at the programs they run. I don't want to mention any technical university. Most of the technical universities run more humanities programs than technology programs. The best accountants, the best management experts, the secretariat, whatever, even communication, come from the technical universities. So it looks as if some universities do not understand their scientific thinking. And every university is supposed to have a scientific thinking, a direction. This is not to say that a technical university cannot run a humanities program. No. This is to say that a technical university should run more technology courses than the humanities courses. That's what we are saying.
Right.
Today, everybody is singing the song of STEM, STEM, STEM. Even though instead of, we have STEAM and STEM. We have STEM, and then we have STEAM. I stand for the AM. You know why? The STEM is science, technology, engineering, and maths. And then the STEAM is science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths. I stand for that. You know why? Because the arts will then still give us the opportunity to go into other areas. Because science education alone is not enough to run a country. You also need, so the arts can take care of the humanities, the law, because if you have the expertise and you don't have the law to regulate the expertise, it can be chaotic. So I still think that, yes, we should consider these things. Now we come to, I mean, if you go to a country like Canada, they are much more emphatic on what they call indigenous knowledge.